Hey beautiful people, welcome to the channel. We are here for a long requested and over-promised Q&A video, okay? I've been putting it off and I just felt a calling to do it for you here today, you guys. And if you end up liking this Q&A style video, I would be happy to do more of them in the future. You guys ask me questions all the time, and sometimes I'll answer them in the comments. I thought this would be a good way to reach the bulk of you all at once instead of just sorting through each individual comment. I did put a community post up not too long ago, a few weeks ago, asking for what your questions are, and I pulled a handful of those questions out that I will be answering for you here today. And if you guys like this, if we can reach like at least 1,000 likes and you guys, put enough comments down there below to let me know that this is a thumbs up, you would like me to do more of these, I'd be more than happy to and continue to answer your questions. So today we're gonna have some fun. I have some more serious questions to answer for you and some fun ones, okay? And I'm gonna kind of like jump around and sprinkle the different styles in as we go along here today. The first question from you guys that I have up is, what do I do in my free time aside from tarot readings? And well, that's kind of a loaded question. I do a lot of things. I really like to spend time in nature. That's a big deal for me. The summers where I live are very hot, so unfortunately I don't get to be outside as much as I would like, but when it is nice outside, I really enjoy kayaking. I enjoy being near water and in the forest. Honestly, you guys, the forest is my happy place. I feel like a fairy or something like that, and I just really enjoy connecting with nature. I meditate out there. I pray a lot. Fun fact, in the beginning of my spiritual awakening, when I was in my hermit phase, I would actually go sit in the forest for like 2 to 4 hours a time, praying the entire time. I would literally spend like 2+ hours a day in prayer and meditating and reflecting. So the forest and near water is my happy place. The beach, a lake, doesn't really matter. On top of that, I'm kind of like a homebody. I'm more of an introvert, so I am known to kind of just like, couch potato it and put on a movie or a show or something like that. I also really enjoy listening to frequencies and kind of just like relaxing in bed. I am a parent, so I like taking my kiddo out to have fun times as well. That's a priority of mine every single day, to do something at least, get outside, go do some fun event or activity. And I also really enjoy listening to music and painting. So that is what I like to do in my free time when I am not reading tarot. And of course, hanging out with my friends, family, and partner. So that's what I enjoy doing the most when I'm not reading and working, but I do work a lot and I do enjoy working as well. So, okay, next question. How did I overcome my fear of live videos on YouTube? And then there was a second one too. Hold on, that relates to it, so I need to read that. Hold on, you guys. I didn't get super organized, so hold on. Oh yeah, and did I have any fears when starting YouTube and how did I overcome them? And then there's a third question that also relates to that, where one of you asked if I learned like public speaking or something like that. And fun fact, I am an introvert and I have anxiety, and I absolutely have always dreaded public speaking. In fact, in school, like it would get so bad, I would have like shaking panic attacks in front of people, okay? And so I guarantee no one I went to school with, no one who knew me very well would have ever guessed that I would be doing what I do now for a living, simply for the fact that I get paralysis when I have to go up and speak in front of people. There's something very different about doing videos for YouTube versus like standing in front of a crowd and speaking. And for some reason in my head, I've been able to like disassociate that, even though I have thousands of viewers and many people watch my channel on a regular basis. There's something inside of me that like, it just feels different. It's a lot different than speaking in front of people, even though yes, thousands of people watch my videos on a daily basis. It just feels different and resonates different than actually like being face to face with a crowd and speaking. So therefore, I don't know, it doesn't really get my anxiety going. Not gonna lie, when I did first start YouTube, at least when I started like putting longer videos out there, because I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I did initially start with doing like only shorts. But when I started doing my longer readings, I did have some anxiety just because I get a little stuttery when I get nervous and I like to over talk, or I start to like, I don't know, you guys probably have noticed that in some of my videos before, where if I'm picking up on like a anxious energy, it comes out and I just start stuttering and I can't talk right. So I did have to get over that. And it kind of just came naturally. It's kind of like learning any other skill, or, you know, building upon yourself. The more you do something, the less anxiety provoking it feels, the better you get, the more you enjoy it. So, you know, it was kind of just that for me. I didn't really have a lot of fears when starting YouTube because I did it because I wanted to, because it was just something fun for me. In fact, when I first started, I didn't have the intention on ever doing this full time. I was literally just doing it because, very long story short, I was coming out of like a second round of Dark Night of the Soul. I was going through a difficult time. I was working full-time somewhere else at a job I didn't really like too much, but I enjoyed doing card readings. It was something I was already really good at, and it was a way for me to kind of like channel that energy for fun, to do it. I enjoyed it already. I started putting it up on YouTube just because, and then it started to grow. And I wanted to continue doing it. And now I feel like I'm like jumping away from the initial questions here. But again, yeah, I don't know. I just did it because that's what I wanted to do. I felt called to do it. It started out as fun and then it snowballed into something else. There came a point where, you know, late 2023, I like lost my other job. I walked away from my other job and I just made a decision that I was going to pour all of my energy and time into trying to do YouTube full time. And I feel like I manifested that. It worked out and I was already doing something I loved and enjoyed, and here we are today. So, and if you guys want me to elaborate on that story a little bit more, again, drop your comments down below. I will also make another community post if you guys ended up really liking this video, and I will do more and elaborate more on other things. This is kind of just like a little test run to see what you guys think. So here we are. Okay, anyway, hopping to it. All right, next question. You guys, my attitude is so different doing things like this, talking about myself versus like reading for you guys. If you can't tell, this is when my awkwardness comes out. So, but it's me and I'm not gonna hide that from you guys. I hope you can at least appreciate it, okay? Do I use traditional tarot meanings or my intuition to read? And the answer is both, and extra bonus on top of that too. I channel, and when I channel, I get into more of a free flow state, which means I'm not using my logical mind to like put pieces together necessarily, right? So let me just grab a tarot deck to use like for examples, and I'll just pick like 3 cards out at random, okay? So we have the Queen of Swords, the 3 of Swords, and the Ace of Swords. Wow, all 3 swords energies. When I do readings, I do use the traditional meanings, yes, but also sometimes intuitive messages come out on top of that as well. And I also pay very close attention to patterns. That is one thing that my mind picks up on very easily. The first thing I noticed when looking at these cards was actually the fact that all 3 of them are swords cards, heavy air energy. So if I were doing a reading for someone right now, that would probably be the first thing I would pick up on and elaborate on, because we have heavy air energy come out. And it's also feeling very cold, just picking up on those cards. I don't know, maybe somebody out there needs that message right now, but I'm not gonna actually do a reading because that's not what we're here for today. But to summarize again for you guys, Yes, I use traditional meaning. I also pay close attention to patterns. Sometimes I have intuitive messages and psychic messages just come out as well when I see the cards. And it's also really important to look at the imagery, okay? So like take a look at the imagery on this card compared to like a traditional tarot deck, right? The imagery looks different, the vibes look different. And even sometimes in the guidebooks that come along with certain tarot decks, they attach extra meanings or additional meanings to them as well, or different ones. So I use a combination of a lot of things to do my readings. And at the end of the day, I always listen to the messages that are coming through me first and foremost, regardless of what the card actually means in traditional tarot. I do usually attach that in most of my readings, but at the end of the day, I always listen to my intuition and what is channeling, even if it differs a little bit from the traditional meaning of the card, unless I'm being like extra literal and I go into the reading with the intention of only only reading on the traditional meanings, which I do on occasion as well, but I usually announce that in my readings before I do it if that's the case. So I hope that makes sense. There's a lot that goes into reading besides it, and I also am very strong with my clairvoyant and clairaudient gifts, so sometimes additional messages just come through in that way as well when I'm reading, so I listen to that too. Okay. How did I get led to starting a channel? I feel like I talked about that a little bit. I did it because I was in a darker place. I was coming out of dark night of the soul, and I felt a calling to do that. And again, if you guys want me to elaborate on that in a future Q&A, I would be more than happy to, but you have to let me know. I really listen to your guys' feedback. So, how is Wally spelled? And will Wally get his own channel? Wally is spelled W-A-L-L-Y, not like Wally from the movie. I know sometimes you guys think of that, but no, it's just Wally. I don't know why. Before I knew I had psychic gifts, I would channel things. I know that that's what it was now, but back then I did not. I've had Wally for a long time. I was still in high school when I got Wally, okay? And I remember my mom called me and told me that she got me a cat as a surprise, and Wally just popped into my head the second she said that. I just heard Wally, and I was like, okay, I guess his name is Wally. And here we are today. It's my cat's name. So I don't know why that was. Maybe he and I have some type of a soul connection with each other, and we knew each other in a past life. I believe that we can have that with animals just like we can with people. So who knows? But we're buds. And will he ever get his channel? Do you guys want Wally to have his own channel? That might be kind of fun. I am certainly not opposed to that, posting funny, ridiculous videos of him. Why not? Let me know. Drop a comment down below, or somebody put a comment and everybody like that one comment if you guys want Wally to get his own channel, because that could be kind of fun. I'm not opposed to that at all. Okay. How do I put so many videos out there without burning out? I'm not perfect, and I am human, so there are times where I get burnt out, you guys. Especially in the very beginning, it was almost very miraculous, and I attribute all of this to God, okay? But in the very beginning, like when I first started doing YouTube full time, it was almost as if God gave me like a miraculous boost of energy to the point where I did not burn out at all. I could literally work and read all day, every single day, and I never reached burnout, probably for the first 4 months or so that I was doing YouTube full time, okay? Which would have put it right around like March-ish or something like that, April-ish. I was like, go, go, go. I never reached burnout, and I think that was God. I honestly attribute that to God and the divine helping me on this path, because I do believe that where I am right now is where I'm meant to be. And I'm incredibly grateful for that, because I really think that it was like God gave me an energy boost so I could kickstart my YouTube channel and actually like get some momentum going and the ball rolling. And then, you know, a while later, I met my current partner, and I started shifting my energy a little bit more in that department, you know, because I had spent like 2.5 years single prior to that, and I started pouring a little bit more energy into my social life with him and my friends and my family again. I pulled out of like my second round of hermit phase / you know, the next stages of my spiritual awakening, and then I started to get burnt out a little bit more with reading. But to be honest with you guys, I love what I do. And so, yes, I do get burnout nowadays, but you know, I don't overwork myself. I'm learning to finally have a good work-life balance instead of just being a workhorse who is always reading and always editing and always filming and always doing this. So, yeah, the first 4 months or so-ish, roughly, real rough ballpark there. Yeah, I never hit burnout at all whatsoever. And then I met my current partner, and you know, actually shortly before I met him, I started pouring a little bit more attention into my friends and family again, and you know, now I just have a better balance. And I think that it's really healthy, to be honest with you, because it's not, even if you're like a love to work life path 4 like I am, you know, devoting your entire life to work only is not really healthy. It's good to have a proper balance of things. I think balance is really important in all areas of your life. So I feel very blessed now to have a bit more balance, and I'm prioritizing that too. So hope that answers your questions. Now let's go to the next question. How did I start my journey? Like my spiritual journey. You guys asked that question a lot, and I hate to do this to you, but this is such a loaded question with such a long backstory and information that I am going to save that for the next Q&A if you guys want me to do one, okay? So if you want me to do a Q&A like just about my journey, or like what it took to get me to where I am now and whatnot, I would be happy to. Let me know down below. I'm gonna skip that one for right now. What was my initial impression of tarot, and what is my favorite major arcana? Okay, so 2 separate questions there. What is my favorite major arcana? I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm a hopeless romantic. I really am. I hate to admit it, okay? It gets me a little bit cringy just saying it, but I am. So my favorite major arcana is definitely the Lovers, and I also really love the Sun, because I'm also very, very, very optimistic and bubbly. Most days I tend to be like an over optimist. I'm kind of like carefree. I just want to be happy all the freaking time. So the Sun and or the Lovers are definitely my favorite major arcana cards, just because I find them to be very happy, and also I'm a hopeless romantic, so just saying. Okay. Now my first initial impression of tarot. That is also a loaded question, but since we are saving that for last, I'll answer it for you guys, okay? Let me take a sip of water real quickly, because this might take some of you by surprise. I don't know, but gotta be honest with you. I grew up in a very traditional Christian household on both sides of my family. In fact, my grandfather, one of my grandfathers, is a pastor. And so my first impression of tarot is I didn't like it. I was terrified of it. In fact, when I did start reading cards, I was afraid of picking up a tarot deck, even though I watched pick-a-card readings online and I was familiar with the meanings of all the cards. For some reason, I was even scared to like read it for the first time, but I would go with oracle cards and other ways of channeling my psychic messages, okay? It wasn't until like a year into my spiritual awakening and card reading that I actually got my first tarot deck and started exploring it, right? And I think it was because I had this religion wound inside of me. Where even though I believe that God gave me my gifts on purpose for a reason to help people and to bring insight to people's lives, there was still that like religion wound inside of me that made me very afraid of tarot. And before I began my spiritual awakening and didn't know what my psychic gifts were, or had like labels or understanding of what was going on, I would have been terrified of tarot. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't like it, and it was like the religious thing. And you know, in the beginning of my spiritual awakening, I actually had like you know, it was like a turning point for me in a way, because I knew that I was going in a different direction. I would still consider myself to be Christian, and I'm very public on my channel about the fact that I love Jesus very much. Jesus is my buddy. I still consider him to be my savior, and I pray to him every single day. But in the beginning of my spiritual awakening, when I was exploring what was going on with my psychic gifts and reading cards and things like that, I was scared. I was scared that I was doing something wrong. And, you know, I'm not going to come on here and say that I'm perfect and I know all the answers. For all I know, it's not a good thing to do. Okay. However, I feel called to be where I am right now, and I'm no longer going to be afraid to follow my callings. And I still love Jesus. I pray to Jesus, and I just trust that I am where I need to be right now. And maybe one day that'll change, but it's kind of doubtful. I believe hi, Wally. I believe I was given my gifts for a reason, and, you know, now I don't really resist that. I have a much more open mind, and I listen to what I feel called to do. So, yeah, my initial impression of tarot was I didn't think it was good. I was against it. And then, you know, as time went on and I explored my psychic gifts, it became a very good tool for me to use to channel the messages I was already receiving and to kind of like organize them in a more cohesive way, right? So now I think much differently of tarot than I did many years ago. I don't know, or even in the beginning of my spiritual awakening and journey with it. So I don't know, you guys. That's the honest answer to that. And that was those were all of the questions that I wrote down. I kind of went into this as like a little test run. So again, if you guys liked it, drop a comment down below, give me a like. If you're new to the channel and you've never been here before, of course, subscribe, but also, you know, check out some of my readings. It would be interesting if this was the first video you've seen of my channel, and I'm wondering if you were brought here for some sort of a reason other than a tarot reading, which is interesting. If that's the case, let me know your story down below. I'm curious. But yeah, you guys, I'm gonna leave this here, I suppose. It's weird because normally I wrap things up with a message from the universe, so I'm gonna do that for you anyway. Why not? Because that's how I like to wrap all my readings up. I like to uplift your energy. I like to bring something positive to your life. That is one of my goals of this channel, and the most important goal of this channel is to bring value to you. You bring so much value to my life, and it is my ultimate goal to bring value to others as well, and to help boost you up and to provide any type of positive anything that I can to you, because I genuinely love you all so very much. And Wally loves you too. Choice is the most powerful tool you have. Every choice you make shuts some doors, but also opens several doors, bringing new experiences into your life. At any given time, you can change the direction of your life. You are only one choice away. I'll hold that up for you. And I suppose, why not? Let's do your affirmation of the day too. I also like to do that. And if you've made it this far into the video, as always, comment a butterfly emoji down below to let me know. It is safe for me to explore unknown worlds and try new things. And that's funny because I looked up and it was 22:22 on the timer. So perfect time to cut this reading, you guys. Thank you for joining. I hope that this answered some of your questions. Have a blessed day, everybody. And until next time, bye for now.